Good day, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to another lecture video for ITC 100. In this video, we're going to talk about the Internet and the World Wide Web. The origin of the Internet dates back to the late 1960s. But what is Internet? Internet is a worldwide collection of interconnected networks. It was accessed by millions of people daily. In its start and throughout its early years, the internet was called ARPANET. So before, dili pa internet ang tawag sa internet. It's ARPANET. So since its predecessor of the internet, it was actually named after the Advanced Research Projects Agency or ARPA. Munang ang tawag is ARPANET. So, kana po ni agency ang nag-sponsor for the creation of the internet. So, again, as mentioned, that the internet was created in 1960s. So the exact year is 1969. So during that time or during the development of the ARPANET, it initially connected four supercomputers and it evolved now in today's internet. So kumbaga from only four supercomputers nga connected sa una. So imagine how many computers were connected at the moment. So millions na siya. It was not until the development of the what we call World Wide Web or WWW that public took their interest with the internet began to soar. Okay, pag tag WWW or the World Wide Web, it is actually the collection of web pages that is available through the internet. So, kumbaga, everything or mga websites and web pages nga atong ma-access through the internet, okay, the collection of those web pages is the what we call the World Wide Web. So, the World Wide Web was actually proposed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. And sa una, text-based content lang na siya, meaning to say wala pa pictures, only text lang yun siya. Very static. But since the evolution of the World Wide Web and the web pages, so nana tayo mga ginatawag nga dynamic web pages in which nana siya interaction or the user can interact with the web page or the website. So like, pwede na ka maka input og imuhang mga information through the forms and you can display mga or view different pictures, media, audios, and videos to that web page or to that site. So, muna nang ginatawag nato nga dynamic web pages. But before, text-based lang yun na siya. So, the very first web browser was Mosaic, or its name is Mosaic. It was created in 1993 and it led to graphical content. So most companies today have websites and considered the web to be an indispensable business tool. Okay, di ba nga kung makita na to karon, most businesses have their own websites. So while the web is a very important and widely used internet resource, it is not the only one. Over the years, okay, natay mga protocols that were developed to for you to download files, to send email messages, and perform other tasks in addition to using web pages. So, makaingon ta na, in this date, the term internet has become a household word. Okay, di ba? It's not a doubt na pag mingon tag internet, it's very common and it's a household word na. Meaning to say, you can always uh, listen or makadungog ta og word nga internet. Even mga bata karon, they know what is internet is, but not really the exact definition of the internet. Okay, because they are actually using it even though mga bata pa. So, And in many ways, it has redefined how people think about computers and communications. So, the next significant improvement to the internet infrastructure may be the result of projects like the what we call Internet 2. So, Internet 2 is the consortium of researchers, educators, and technology leaders from industry, government, and the international community. So these people are dedicated to the development of revolutionary internet technologies, meaning to say they are trying to improve or to parang make the internet as a research and development tool, and they are much more focused on how to speed up processes using the internet. The internet community is made up of individual users. So pag tag users, they are the ones who are using the internet. Okay, aside from the users, there are also companies such as internet service providers or ISP. So pag tag mga ISP, sila tong mga companies that provide access to the internet. So they are typically for a fee. Okay, like let me give you an example. In here in the Philippines, we have several ISPs. We have Globe Telecoms, we have Smart Communications, PLDT. Those are internet service providers because they allow you to access the internet as long as you pay for subscription. So aside from that, these ISPs include most communication and media companies because of course they are most likely into the communications na field. Aside from ISPs, we also have internet content providers. So they could be a person or an organizations that provide internet content. So, pwede siya for business, non-profit organization, and educational institutions, as well as individuals. So, pag may tag internet content providers, they provide the content. Okay, literally, they provide the content. So, we can say nga kanang mga YouTuber, kanang mga vloggers, mga naga-create og vlogs, naga-create og mga websites, and they put up mga relative information to those sites. They are what we call internet content providers. So, mo nang unsa 'di ba, unsa na ato ang mga mabasa, or 'di ba we get usually our information through the internet. We can just use the Google and then look for something, and then ma-retrieve na nato siya with those web pages that could be helpful. But again, let me just say it that not all information that you can see on the web are true. So you have to validate it or look if those information are relevant and accurate. So, naman po yung mga internet content providers that not really the knowledgeable type. So, muna siya. So, you have to be very careful in that. And then, aside from internet content providers, we also have application service providers or ASPs and web services. So these are companies that manage and distribute web-based software services over the internet. So it could be a cloud software or a software as a service or cloudware. So these services or softwares are often fee-based. So meaning to say you have to pay in order to use those cloudware services. So that's it. Then we also have mga infrastructure companies. So they are the ones who are making or distributing, or the enterprises that own or operates the physical structure of the internet. Again, ha, pag may tag internet, it's a collection of networks. And how to create a network, there should be a connection of any device, hardware device. So there should be a physical structure, meaning to say it composes of wired or wireless devices, or devices that has a wireless and wired capabilities in order to connect to each other. So that's why we need physical structure. So, parehasan ng mga nag-provide or let us say kanang nagabuhatan ng mga cables, kanang mga routers, switches, and etc. Those are infrastructure companies. Then, we also have um, hardware and software companies. So they provide the hardware and software use in conjunction with the internet and web. Okay. So pwede na there are some infrastructure companies who does not only provide the physical structure but also the hardware services. So nga na. So and um, to parang to distinguish the infrastructure companies from the hardware and software companies. So the infrastructure companies are also the enterprises that owns the conventional and mobile phone companies, cable companies, and satellite internet providers. So, diba, as mentioned kaganina that there are some internet service providers that were also um, mga infrastructure companies. So, naga-overlap lang ang ilahang um, functions or distinctions, kumbaga. Okay, and then, it's also the, um, also includes the government and other organizations. Okay, so, some government provides limitation to the access of the internet. So, some government actually Nadyo'y uban sa ilaha nga na nagalimit jud og access to the internet. Okay, there are some countries nga dili ginaalaw ang ilahang mga residents or tawag nito ilahang people or citizens rather nga mo access anang particular site. Okay, so they make one. Okay. So nayuban nga nadyo sila sarili nilang social media nga na. Okay, so the Internet Society or the ISOC, they are an organization that addresses issues that impacts the future of the internet. We also have ICANN or the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. So they are responsible for domain and IP management. Okay, again, we need domains for the internet. Okay, so kabaluman ta ng domain no kanang like for example, we have the www.google.com. Actually, domain name ra ng google.com. Pero in actuality, it's a series of number. Okay. So, dili na siya actually ang Google or para lang mas mapadali na to og type mong we use the domain nga google.com. Pero actual in reality, dili na siya google.com. Na siya specific na IP address. Okay. Di ba, masasol ko ang i-type dyan mo IP address which consists of numbers na 192.168.1.1 or nga na. So, di ba, it's very hard to type it. So, muna siya nga natay parang domain name nga ginagamit to make it easier. So, mo na ang responsibility sa ICANN. And then, we have the World Wide Web Consortium or the W3C. Okay, they provide the protocols and standards and ensures interoperability. Okay, so this agency or the World Wide Web, they provide the protocols and standards. Okay, again, ano maguna siya? Okay, if you are a developer and you are to create something, of course, you would like nga ang imuhang gibuhat pwede siya magamit sa tanan. Okay. So, if you have a web browser, okay, tapos ang imuhang web browser, di ba kasagaran sa itong mga web browser karon, it can only read mga HTML based nga mga websites, meaning to say mga web pages and websites that were created using the HTML. That HTML is a protocol used in creating web pages. So imagine if you are to create a web page that is not based on HTML. So meaning to say, your web browser cannot read that. So para na ay as parang uniformity. Okay, mo na siya nga si World Wide Web, they created a protocol or a standard that for every web browser or para ma-access tanan sa web browser ang mga web pages, all web pages must be created using the HTML and CSS language. Or if not really the HTML or CSS language, at least based on those types. Kaya naman po tayo ginatawag nga XHTML, HTML5, okay, so mga ingana, the improved versions na. Okay, parang ang tawag nito, they can, or that those web browser is compatible with those languages. Okay. That's for uniformity. So, muna'y trabaho sa World Wide Web Consortium. So, virtually, anyone with a computer with communications capability can be part of the internet, either as a user or supplier of information or services. So, web services are self-contained business functions that operate over the internet. Because the internet is so unique in the history of the world, and again, it remains a relatively new and ever changing phenomenon, there are several widespread myths about it that have surfaced. Okay, three such myths are: first, the internet is free. Okay, so most people and businesses pay for the internet access. So, meaning to say, the internet is not free, because if you want to have access to the internet, you have to pay for subscription. Okay, so muna siya. Even businesses, schools, and libraries, they lease communication lines from phone companies in order to communicate, and that is how it also goes with the internet. Okay, so if you are a mobile phone user, diba, you have to pay for a hotspot provider, or you have to parang buy load, okay? Di ba mo na itong ginagamit nga term to gain data connection, okay? In order to access the internet. So, it's really a myth to say that the internet is free. Okay. So, aside from that, di ba pag, though there are some mga businesses that they provide free internet access, pero given nga ni avail ka silang service. For example, mga hotels, okay, or mga inns, okay, 'di ba? Na kung nana sila yung mga or if nasa sila yung internet, they give you access to their internet connection, given nga nagbayad ka og um, para maka avail ka sila mga service. Like, you stayed for the night, so appeal na dito sa imong gibayran ang imong access to the internet. So, inga na. Still, it's fee-based. Second is, someone is controlling the internet. Okay, actually, there is no single group or organization that controls the internet. Okay, lahi po nang sila ang naga-provide og access sa naga-control sa internet. However, there are some governments that can regulate internet use within its country. However, that's difficult to enforce. Kay motong giingon nato nga there are some governments nga dili sila mo or gina-regulate nila kung unsa lang ang mga websites ang pwedeng ma-access sa ilahang country. So, nga na. And the last but not the least myth is that the internet and World Wide Web are identical. Okay, they are not the same. Internet is the physical network, meaning to say, 'di ba, in our first slide, we've said that internet is a collection of interconnected networks. So, means to say that you have a computer and you have another computer. Those computers are connected to each other because of a wired connection or wireless connection. Okay. So there is a connection of those two computers that is network. So imagine millions of computers and other networks, okay, connected together. That is internet. So, physical network. So, pag may tag World Wide Web, web pages, you can able to access the web pages if you are connected to the internet. So, see the difference? They are not identical. So to be able to use the internet, you have some things to set up to gain access. And that is identifying what type of device ang imuhang i-set up to the internet. Or meaning to say, i-access nimo to the internet. So there are factors or combination of factors that you should consider. Okay, what are the devices that is available to you? That's one thing. Another is, where do you need to access? At home lang ba or while on the go? And what type of internet content ang gusto nimo i-access? So, those are the things that you need to consider. So, pinakauna na is what type of device. Okay, again, there are several types of devices that you can use to access the internet. You could use a personal computer, smartphones, media tablets, and other mobile devices. Or if you have a gaming device and televisions, then you can also use that to access or to use the internet. So if you are just at home and you're just wanting to look for internet content or contents to the internet, then you might use or you can use your personal computer. Where if you're on the go, then you can use your smartphones. And if you just want to watch entertainment movies and etc., then you can use televisions. Or if you want to play games, then gaming devices. So, nga na. So, parang i-identify nimo saan nimo siya or asa nimo siya gamiton. So, mo na imong mga dapat i-consider. So, here are some example of devices that can be used to access the internet. Okay, this is a personal computer, this is a smartphone, and this is a smart TV. In order to obtain access to the internet, okay, again, you should be or your computer should be connected to the internet. So some internet connections today are dial-up connections or direct connections. So pag may tag dial-up connections, it means to say that you need to dial up and connect to the internet to provide access. So for dial-up connections, it uses standard phone lines. Okay, to dial up your ISP, you have to use your modem, and because of that, it's slightly inconvenient. But mas cheaper ang price. The thing of dial-up connections is much slower siya and it ties up phone lines. However, in terms of security, dial-up connections are relatively secure from hackers. Aside from dial-up, we also have direct connections. So it got its name direct because your device is continually connected or always connected to the internet. Okay, since it is always connected, so you can able to access the internet using your browser. And pag mingon tag direct connections, they are typically broadband, which is muna siya ang mga most kung sa mga connections today or most type of internet connections today, broadband na. And since you are always connected, so it's very hard to parang ensure the security of your computer from hackers. So with that, you have to, or it is important to protect your computer from hackers. So for conventional dial-ups, so let's go back to dial-up connection. For conventional dial-up, so it uses standard telephone jack. So most often they are used at home, na dili na siya uh, or for users who do not need or do not want to pay for broadband. So for conventional dial-up, dili kay siya mahal, dali ra po siya i-set up and mas widespread yung availability. The problem is slow ang connection speed. Okay, so for direct connections, here are some of the different types of um, internet connections or direct internet connections. They include cables. Okay, so cables are usually used at home broadband connections. So in terms of kapaspason, ang yang speed is in between 15 to 50 Mbps. We also have DSL or digital subscriber line. So it's a broadband connection then, but it is delivered over telephone lines. Okay, so in terms of speed, that is 1 to 15 Mbps lang. Okay, then we also have satellites. So satellites are, they are an option if you are living in a rural area. Kaya lang, mas mahal siya kung ikumpara na to sa cable and DSL since it requires you to have a satellite modem and transceiver dish. Then we also have fixed wireless. So fixed wireless uses radio transmission towers rather than satellites. So still, it uses modem and outside mounted na receiver. And to broadcast it, it uses WiMAX technology. So then we have broadband over fiber. So kani siya is nagagamit siya og fiber optic cables in order to deliver your um, connection or para naatay connection. So it uses the fiber optic cable. Okay, so its download speed is between 15 to 150 Mbps. So it's just the same with the cable connection. Okay, and we have mobile wireless. So this is accessible using a smartphone or a media tablet. So to have or to gain access, okay, using the mobile wireless, dapat na kay data plan. Okay, so muna siya ang mga different types of internet connection. Okay, we have the conventional dial-up, cable, DSL, satellite, fixed wireless, broadband over fiber. We have mobile wireless, 3G and 4G. So, karon we have 5G na, pero here, wala, dili pa tanan mga ISPs and infrastructure companies nga naka 5G. So, parang pinakataas pa jud is nga pwede na magamit sa tanan is 4G. Okay, and their availability and maximum speed as well as monthly price. So take note that this is a not so recent na version of this reference book. So these prices is not really that accurate na. Okay, so that's it. So aside from those mentioned, individuals can also connect to the internet using the Wi-Fi hotspot. So there are some mga organizations or establishments that provide Wi-Fi hotspots. So it could be free or fee-based. Okay, some examples are coffee houses or hotels and conference centers, hospital, businesses, and other organizations, and at school. So mga schools nga nagaprovide po og Wi-Fi hotspot. So when preparing to become connected to the internet, again, you need to decide which type of device, tapos the type of internet connection nga mo gamiton. So mo to mga na-mention ka ganina. What type of internet connection ang imuhang i-avail, cable ba, DSL, direct, dial-up, and etc. And which specific internet service provider to use. So, in selecting your ISP, there are some questions that you need to consider. Again, unsa nga mga device ang pwede ma-connect to that or makakonect sa imong ISP. Unsa po ilang mga internet connection nga gina-provide. Okay, unsa ilang mga services as well as the geographic location. Okay, sometimes manggod, some ISPs, dili sila uh, available or dili okay ang connection to that specific geographic location. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, so this is a real experience. When I applied to have a plan with Globe, okay, ang ilang gina-offer that time was 10 Mbps. However, okay, the area or ang amuang area of our residence, dili siya makasupport og 10 Mbps. Only 5 Mbps. So, muna siya. Geographic location will likely determine your ISP options. Okay. So aside from that, you also need to ask for questions that includes the speed. Okay, unsa kapaspason ang imuhang gusto i-avail. Okay, the outages, the support, limits, okay, like na mga ISPs nga ang ilahap na sila yung mga parang promos, right? Parehasa ng for that price, mo ni siya ang imuhang ma-avail. Na uban nga unlimited, na uban nga naay capping or meaning naay limit sa ilahang data connection. Ana. Then, pricing options also, you have to consider that. Okay? There are some kung mahal jud kayo. Okay? So, and nagavary na siya ha. Different ISPs companies have different pricing options. So, you have to consider that also. Okay, and then if once all the decisions are made, then you can acquire the proper hardware and software and set up your system for internet access. So that's it. So since we've learned about some technical stuff about the internet, so let's discuss how internet is used. So one of the common things that you use with the internet is searching. Okay, so typically you use search sites, okay, to look for information using the internet. So search sites are websites that enable users to search for and find information on the internet. Okay, so you can locate, or for that you can use a search engine in conjunction with a database that contains information about web pages. There are several sites or search engines available. We have Google, okay, Bing, Yahoo, and Ask.com. They are all search sites that you can use to look for information. Okay. Napoy uban nga nagagamit og mga real-time search engines like My Live Search. So, it helps you to search the web live rather than relying on a database. So, nga na. So, they typically locate pages using a keyword search. So, keyword search are keywords that you have to type on the search box of the search site to locate information on the internet. So, yung ginabuhat is, iyahan na siyang i-match to nga keyword sa mga web pages nga published in the World Wide Web. So, pag na ay mag-match, that is called a hit. So 'di ba, kung unsa tong imuhang keyword nga gi-search, tanan mga web pages that contains that keyword, iyan ang i-display. So mo na siya nga atong makit-an karon nga mga search results. So So aside from keyword search, you can also try using the directory search. That is, categories are selected to locate information on the internet. Meaning to say, you have to have a specific category. Like for example, if you're looking for a person, then you have to click on the person side or people side. So if you're looking for a book, then dito ka sa book. So nga na, categorize siya. That is for easy searching and para mas ma-refine ang imuhang search. Okay. Then we have we also use search site tools. So search site tools, um, they search for music files, image files, news articles, mobs, people, and videos. Kung isa sa mga makonsider na itong versatile search site is the Google. So, they are, these sites' databases are generally maintained by automated spider programs. Okay? And they are very much updated. Okay? Di ba pag na new content, so mabutang po dyan na siya dito as a database. Okay, nga na. Also, these are some of the example of Google search tools. Okay, we have the calculator, okay, currency converter, dictionary, earthquake, flight information, movie show times, number search, and etc. So, kani siya nga mga muna yung mga search site tools nga naa kay Google. Di ba pag if you wanted to know what is the currency or equivalent ka currency from Philippine peso to US dollars, di ba usually mukuan ra man ka dito og convert PHP to dollars. Then di ba makabantay mo nato siya yung barag kanang kwan nga parang box na lang nga i-type in na lang nimo dito kung sa equivalent niya sa peso and then i-retrieve ni ang result. So muna siyang mga ginatawag natin mga Google search tools. So yun nga na. There are also a variety of search strategies that can be used in searching. It includes typing phrases. Okay, so meaning to say you will use phrase searching, okay, to search for the information that you need instead of keyword lang. For example, if you wanted to know the hand signals used in dogs, so pwede ka mo type og phrase nga dog hand signals. So with that, okay, mas ma-refine imuhang search nga imuhang gipangita nga information jud is all about dog hand signals. That is phrase search. Okay. You can also use Boolean operators, meaning to say you will use and or a not to further refine a search. Like for example, you wanted to look for hand signals that is not only applicable for dogs but also with cats. So imong ibutang is dog and cat hand signals. So you're using the Boolean operator and. Okay, that's it. That's it. Then you can also try using multiple search sites because some search sites they can return different results. It depende man gud na sa ilahang spider nga we called it parang spider. Okay, that's the term that they use to. Okay, naman gud ang mga sites man gud they use mga crawlers to look for mga tawag na to, matching hits sa mga different web pages. So, lahi-lahi mong na ginagamit sa different search sites. So, possible po nga lahi po ilahang results. And using appropriate keywords, synonyms, variant words, and wildcards, as well as field searches. So, pag may tag synonyms, meaning to say, basin dili to siya applicable na word, then you can look for the synonym of that word. Or there is a variation of your keywords or basin mali imong spelling mo nang dili siya maka-retrieve og result. Or pwede pod ka mogamit og mga wildcards like asterisk, okay, to look for keyword patterns. Or you can use field searches. Okay. So, natin mga different na mga field types. We have a title, text, site, and domain. Okay. Like, if you're looking for a title, then pwede ka nga, like, example ha, if you wanted to look for titles nga na ay kwan here in our example na ay tax tip sa iyang title. So you can just look for it, okay, by typing that word, tax tip. Okay, nga na. Okay, that is an example. Okay, so once a list of links to web pages matching the search criteria, okay, meaning to say you have your search results na, it's displayed to you na, okay, the hits need to be evaluated for their relevancy. Okay, again, not all results are correct, or meaning not all results is accurate. So you have to check if it's relevant. Kay ang ginabuhat ra man gud sa ato ang search sites is that ilaha lang tong match kung unsa tong nga word ang nagkuan sa imuhang gibutang nga keyword. So if they have the same words, so iya jud na siyang ilabas as a hit. Okay, so you have to evaluate if it is relevant. So you can evaluate it by using the author. Meaning to say, if ang author ba is, kan ba siya? Kaning, like, expert ba siya? Or, kana bang author is well known for that particular topic or knowledgeable of that particular topic. Okay, for example, if you're using it for your thesis or for your assignments, so you have to look for the author na kwanjud, kabalujud. Okay? Or you should also evaluate the source, meaning to say you have to determine if the source is reliable or biased. And the recency, meaning recent ba ang result. Okay, there are some articles online that are already years old. So you have to check on that. So you have to verify your online information with a second source. So aside from just using that a source, kay pwede pa ka mangita og laing source, and then imo na silang i-match if parehas ba sila og idea. If they have the same idea or they have the same thought, then could be nga kana siyang information is relevant or reliable. Okay, so if the information found on a web page is used in paper, report, or other original document, then you should credit the source appropriately. Okay, you have to cite your source so that you will avoid plagiarism. Okay, so your citation now should include the name of the author, when it is published, the page title or the title of the article or the web page, and the retrieved statement that will list the date of the article when the article was retrieved from the internet and the URL used. So you really have to put that so that your readers will know nga dili to siya imuha jud originally. It's from that source, or that the information was from that source. So that if they also want to read more information about that, then they can just visit the site that you've mentioned or you've cited for more information. Okay, so you really have to parang think that if the information was not yours to begin with, then cite where you get. that information. So here are some ways in how to cite internet resources. So if your resource is a web page article, so yung nga ni siya pag-cite. If it's a web page article in a journal, so yung nga ni. And so on and so forth. So again, there are several types of mga citing style guides. So you have to uh, properly um, kon parang choose kung unsa nga kon ang appropriate sa imuha or gi-require sa imuha. If your instructor told you to use the APA style, then you have to use the APA style. Or MLA, then MLA. So, yun nga na. So again, the internet, aside from searching, the internet can be used for many different types of activities in addition to basic web browsing and email exchange. So, the pinaka-common mong good nga usually, or nga ginagamitan nato og online communication is through instant messaging or IM. That is exchanging real-time messages. Okay. For text messaging, that is also called as SMS or short message service, okay, usually ginagamit sa mga mobile phone users. So, these are the some online communications that we use to communicate with another person. Okay, so aside from that, we also use twittering and social networking updates. So that is pag mingon tag Twitter, that is sending short status updates using the Twitter. Okay. So, ang tawag nato itong mga short updates, it's called a tweet. Okay. Or pwede po magamit tag mga social networking sites like Facebook, um, Instagram, okay, mga ingana to send messages. Okay, you can also use forums. Okay, it's a web page that enables individuals to post messages on a particular topic for others to read and respond to. Payuban nga nagagamit og voice over internet protocol, that is making telephone calls over the internet. So, yung pinaka-common example na is Skype and IM. Then, we have web conferences and webinars. So there are some most meetings karon or conferences we do it using this technology, the web conferencing and webinars. So web conferences is a real-time meetings that takes place via the web and typically uses video cameras and microphones to enable participants to see and hear each other. So, di ba mo man kasagaran karon na itong ginagamit. Sa una, we have seminars. Karon, we have webinar. So, webinar is a seminar that is presented via the web. Okay, we also have webcast. That is a one-way presentation. So, murag ka nang ginabuhat na to. Uh, kanang mogamit ta og kanang if you want to make your presentations live, so that is webcast. Okay. Then, again, social networking and social medias. So, we have social networking sites that enables community of individuals to communicate and share information. Okay, we also have social media. Okay, ang social media is a collection of social networking sites. So, pag may tag social media, that is composed of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WeChat, may nga na. So, kana sila are mga social networking sites. So, a collection of those social networking sites that is social media. Okay? And you can use, there are several uses in social media. You can share your information about yourself. Like if you want to update your friends about what's happening to your life, that is sharing information about yourself. Also, if you want to communicate with someone, so you connect with people. Pero what if that someone is from different geographic area? Okay, so that's one of the uses of social media. Okay, if you want to check to locations or sign into websites, and social media is a very good business marketing tool. Okay, however, you have to be very careful in using your social media to reveal updates about your life. Okay, you have to be very careful on that and not reveal too much, okay, about yourselves, because there are some people who uses social media not only to share their updates about their life but also to extort other people online. Labi na karon nga ang social media is, since everyone can make their accounts, so nayuban nga magagamit og mga fake accounts or mga ingana, so anonymous accounts, okay, that they use to extort other people. So you have to be very careful in that. Napo ibon mga naga-steal og identity. Okay, matingala na lang ka, ananay nasuko sa imuha without you knowing why. Okay, nanaday ito yung nagagamit sa imuhang identity. That is identity theft. Theft. So you have to be very careful on that. And there are also colleges and employers that they monitor the sites that you are using. Like for example, what do you post online? There is some colleges and employers that they carefully check what you post, because there might be some things ng imong na post that is not pleasing to their eyes. And you can also use the internet for some web activities, like that includes a variety of consumer e-commerce activities such as online shopping, is buying products or services over the internet. Okay, that's what we usually do today with this pandemic going on. So usually, instead of going to stores, to malls to buy things. So we just do online shopping. Okay, you can also do online auction. That is, the bids are placed for items. Okay, and the highest bidder will purchase the item. You can also do online banking or online investing. When performing any type of financial transaction over the internet, it is very important to use only secure ways. So aside from that, you can also do online entertainment, okay? Meaning you can use different applications that engages entertainment. Like if you want to listen to music, so you can download music files and other types of online music via the web. Or if you wanted to watch for videos, so the internet or the World Wide Web is a very good source of videos, movies, and other live or recorded TV shows that is available via the web. And some of these videos should be paid in order to watch, or for you to watch those videos. And also, okay, mo ni siya, mga example. And you can also play games via the web, that is online gaming. So some are hooked into games, computer games, online. So, isa na siya. And if you wanted to read for news, reference, and other things, okay, you can do that online then. You can look for websites that belongs to news organizations or television networks and newspaper magazines. Kaya natin mga like Philippine Daily Inquirer, di ba? That is a newspaper. Nana sila website po where you can watch or you can listen to news. ABS-CBN News is online na. Then we also have, if you are into foreign news, we have BBC, ANC, and etc. So those are several sites or news sites that you can use to look for um, news articles. And actually, there are some um, web browser that supports that. Like Opera, si Opera na sila ay feature sa ilahang browser that you can read news articles. Okay, you can also use reference sites again. That's already mentioned. And if you wanted to have new parang na yung mga feeds that or web contents that you will directly delivered to you. So, pwede ka mo subscribe sa isa ka web content or a website. So, nana sila yung mga RSS feed that they will deliver news to their subscribers. Then, if you are into listening to audio or video files, okay, pwede ka mo kan og mga podcasts. So, those podcasts are prepared by individuals and businesses. So, that is actually used to share information, share knowledge, expressing opinions. Okay, so or listening to original poem songs or short stories, you can listen to podcasts. So some mga product pod again like businesses, they share their information online. So there are some mga government agencies pod that they show their services online. So education. So online education is also very common na karon since with this pandemic going on, most of our most of classes are done online. So that is pag may tawag online education, that is we are using the internet to facilitate learning. And we use a web-based na learning management systems to deliver course content, manage assignments, and grades. So example sa web-based na learning management system is kanang ginagamit nato na Moodle. Okay, isa na siya. Okay, you can also use online for trainings, okay, or employee training. So, ang mga instructions lang are delivered via the web. We call that WBT or web-based training. Okay, for those students who are taking classes from different locations, so that's the advantage of distance learning. And you can also take tests using the internet or via the internet. That is what we call online testing. So, online testing lang can be used for both objective and performance-based exams and must be secured, okay, for a variety of means. Then, if you are into writing, there are some blogs that allows you to write or to express your writing capabilities. Since pag mga tawag blogs, that is a web page that contains a short, frequently updated entries in chronological order, typically by just one individual. So you can just post content into your blogs. So if you're a writer, so it's a very good tool to to promote your writings. Then, you also have wikis, that is a collaborative web page designed to be edited and republished by a variety of individuals. Kaya lang, you have to carefully evaluate the content of wikis kay, again, it is public or edited by the public. Meaning to say, biskag kinsa ra ang niput og information dira. So, you cannot really saying that all the information there is tama. So, you have to evaluate the content if you are um, using resources from Wikipedia. Ana. Then, e-portfolios, that is a collection of individuals' work that is accessible via the internet. So among the most important societal issues relating to the internet are censorship and privacy. So in terms of censorship, there are some countries that blocks internet content. Okay, it was mentioned before nga na ay mga countries nga na ay mga sites nga dili nila gina-allow na ma-access sa ilahang mga citizens. So muna ginatawag naton gina-regulate nila kung unsang ma-access sa sa mga ilahang mga citizens. So they do that because they wanted to hinder spread of information from political opposition, or they wanted to filter out material nga pananaw nila offensive para sa ilaha, or they want to protect their national security. Muna nga kinablock to nila nga mga internet content. Like, there are some countries that they don't like, don't support that specific country. So, any information about that country, they don't want to know about it. So, parang ingana. Also, there are some countries that have attempted to regulate internet content. Okay, kaya lang, those who attempted to regulate internet content, they have difficulty in defining what is patently offensive and what is indecent. Okay. So, muna siya, isa sa mga difficulties encountered, and they have difficulty in finding a fair balance between what is protection and what is censorship. So, isa na siya sa mga ah, gi gitry nila og determine when they attempted to regulate internet content. Aside from censorship, it's also all about internet filtering. So, internet filtering is using a software or browser to block access to a particular web pages or type of web pages. Okay, so usually nagagamit ani are schools, employers, public computers, and etc. Okay, way back before when I was a student here in the OSST, before we cannot really use Facebook at school. Okay, so gi-filter to siya nga dili jud mi maka-access sa Facebook at school, because the thinking back then was students will just be using the internet or the Facebook to ano for fun lang. Pero karon 'di ba nga we use Facebook to engage with our students. So manang wala na kind siya ginabawal, but before that, during my time, so isa na siya sa mga site nga ilang gi filter sa una. So web content is not just censored as a whole, but in gamitan lang nila og internet filtering because they want to prevent access to those sites that they deem objectionable on computers for which they have control. Privacy is a big concern for individuals, particularly as it relates to their web activity. So, pag yung tag privacy, that is, or web browsing privacy, it encompasses what information about individuals is available, how are you going to use that, and who is going to use that. So, cookies are typically used by websites to save customized settings for the site. It can also be used for advertising purposes. So, pag may tag cookies, they are just small files that are stored on a hard drive by a web server. So, it is used for the web server to identify the return visitors and their preferences. Okay, careful lang punta sa paggamit sa mga cookies because it can be used to track web activity. So, another items of possible concern is spyware. Okay, spyware is a software that is installed without the user's permission, and it will send information to others. So, you have to be very careful on the site that you are accessing, labi na katong mga unsecured nga websites, because it might be that hidden in those hyperlinks or those links are spywares. Pag imong maklik, eh, mag-run to siya as background sa imuhang computer, ma-install siya nga actually spyware di ay. So you have to be very careful on those things. And aside from that, they are using that to gather personal data about you and use it to extort you. So aside from spyware, napunta ginatawag ng mga adwares. So adwares are support softwares that were supported by on-screen advertising. Okay, mo nang mga sigig pop-up bitaw sa imuhang kanang screen nga nagasigig promote and etc. So kana siya, though it does not gather information, it is not installed without user's content, pero samo kayo sigig pop-up sa imuhang screen. Okay, so also, you have to be very careful on if you wanted to send your emails in private, because only encrypted email can be transmitted privately. Okay, so unless your email message is encrypted, so you should assume or you should not assume that it is completely private. Okay, so I think that's it for this topic's discussion. So I hope you've learned something from this topic, and see you again on our next video. Bye.